Gaza.
The White House late Friday again stressed it cannot support that final invasion of the South.
Pretty clear, we haven't seen a comprehensive plan
without Israel having a plan to protect civilians. More than 34,000 people have been killed in Gaza so far, says Gaza's health ministry run by Hamas. One of every 20 people, says the UN. The ceasefire that may suspend this bloody war hinges on a swap for hostages. The pause would reportedly be weeks long.
In Australia, domestic violence has been declared to be a national emergency. Reporter Scott Maiman.
The rate of violence against women and soaring fatalities in Australia has led to peaceful rallies in the past week across the country.
Enough is enough.
A special meeting was chaired by Prime Minister Anthony Albanese to devise an action plan.
This isn't an issue just for governments, this is an issue for men and their behaviour.
Financial help will be given to women who flee their situation. There'll be a crackdown on digital pornography, as well as other education programs.
Kent State University is marking the anniversary of the National Guard shootings that killed 4 students and injured 9 others on this date in 1970. This speaker is also thinking about the current protest over the Israel-Hamas war.
Ohio is a poignant reminder that the students who were here in 1970, enraged at the U.S. government, grasping for change and reform, are not all that different from our students today.
A federal proposal to reclassify marijuana as a less dangerous drug is bringing hope to fans of weed. 24 states have already legalized recreational marijuana for adults. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants and stuff.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns. Here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Comics fans, start your engines.
It's Free Comic Book Day, which means comic fans can get their hands on new and a handful of free comics today.
No, it's huge. It's a day we count on.
Alex DeMarco runs A&S Comics in New Jersey.
It gets the community in and mingling with each other, which is cool. And we go pretty big with this.
He says profits are typically 3 times more than they do on a normal Saturday, but this one's extra special. This year, it's May the 4th, Star Wars Day.
There's Star Wars comics to give out on this day, too. So you kind of get best of both worlds.
Marvel and DC will have special issues out too, but for the first time in years, neither's releasing a big superhero movie in theaters. Monica Ricks, CBS News.
If this is a song you hear in your head while whipping out a big fat sour pickle, not sliced but whole, hold on. Extreme weather may mean a national pickle shortage. How are we supposed to eat our peppermint sticks? Allison Keys, CBS News.
Broadcasting live from the palatial studios of KOKC in Oklahoma City, it's McRoof Talks Insurance, an abbreviated half-hour program today to make way for OU baseball, at 1:30. There's just one extra syllable in there. I'm Rick Allen Lippert here with restoration specialist and Hall of Fame remodeler Scott McCollum.
Good afternoon, sir.
And the next generation HAAG-certified roofing inspector Scotty McCollum.
Hi, Rick.
Hello. Running man Eric Yandel is the wizard on the other side of the glass.
He doesn't look like much of a wizard today.
Hello. There we are.
So,
hey.
Eric, you ran in the Memorial Marathon last week.
Right.
What was your time?
Half marathon, 13.1 miles, 2 hours, 26 minutes.
And was that a personal best, or how did that rank in your world?
I did 2:24 last year. Unfortunately, I started it toward the back of the corral. The race started at 6:30. I didn't cross the start line until 6:41. There were about 7,000 people down there, so I was about a minute and a half off from last year. But I mean, the pace was great. Thanks for asking.
Well, we missed you last week, buddy.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Good job.
Well, Running Man Eric will answer your calls to 405-478-1520. If you have a question for either of the McCollum boys, or if you want to give a shot at our trivia question, which we will have. Hey, we are live streaming the show on the McRoof Talks Insurance channel. We're waving to you right now. It's a one-act show today, brought to you without commercial interruptions, but with all the regular features. We'll have our trivia question and the word of the week, and we'll also have our view from the rooftop.
Yes, sir.
Scotty takes a call to estimate a metal roof project, and the homeowner is in for a nice surprise.
Something like that.
Something like that.
I thought my description was a little different, but hey.
Yeah, I like that. Then we'll have our before the storm tip, or maybe after the storm, and brought to you by Roof RX, and we'll wrap up with Dad's Wisdom, brought to you by Energy Q. Now, the lawyer says I have to tell you that S&CM LLC, doing business as McRoof.us, legally operates under Oklahoma registration number 80000002, and that the registration applies to both residential and commercial roofing. Okay, so let's get started. Jump right in with our trivia question.
Scotty?
Yes, okay. So today's trivia question is, how many incidents of hail damage, or wind damage in this case, could be on a shingle roof, does it take for an insurance company to warrant replacement of that roof on a discontinued product?
I have a vested interest in this question.
Yes, you do. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yes, you do.
All right. So how many incidences, how many
occurrences in a particular location on a particular roof does it take for an insurance company to replace a discontinued product?
Is that like, are you asking how many times it needs to hail there? Are you asking how many hail hits on that roof? What exactly are we asking?
Yeah, what are we asking?
Well, marks that denote hail damage.
Okay. So if you circle the shingle from a hail hit, how many of those does it take to buy it for the insurance company to buy the roof?
Because it's discontinued.
Because it's discontinued.
There you go. And that's as compared as opposed to when we get on a roof that is not discontinued, then obviously we know that we have to find a certain number of hits within that 1 square test area, that 100 square feet, that 10 by 10 area on your roof.
Okay.
A little bit different when the roof is discontinued, no longer available.
All right, so if you think you know that answer, give us a call, 405-478-1520. 405-478-1520.
I'm actually arguing that exact same point on personal roof.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so.
All right.
Interesting.
So while we're waiting for the phones to light up with those answers to the trivia, and I also should mention that the winner will get 2 free tickets to any Carpenter Square Theater production this season, which there are 2 shows left. One opens in a couple weeks, and then one more after that. Okay, so 478-1520. The word of the week.
Deductible.
Deductible.
Now most
sounds
people,
like a dirty word.
Most people probably know what that is.
Yeah?
At least they know what the definition is.
Well, I don't know so much, Dad. I think there's people I run into all the time that don't seem to have a clue or think that does not apply to them.
There you go. Yeah, that's exactly right. So the reason we put this on there, I mean, it seems kind of like, no-brainer. Everybody knows what a deductible is as respects to insurance, whether it's your home, your auto, your business, whatever. We want to be able to talk about this a little bit because there have been a number of changes. One thing that we know that is a given, deductibles are increasing. Okay.
Right. The days of the $1,000 deductible are over.
Fixed rate deductible is very rare.
I can still think back to this little lady over in Bethany. I met her probably 12 or 14 years ago. And I'm I'm sitting there with the Hartford adjuster, who Hartford doesn't have staff adjusters here. They use independent adjusters.
Okay.
The independent adjuster happened to be a friend of mine and someone that I'd had occasion to cross paths with a number of different times in Oklahoma in the years leading up to that. And that happened to be the independent adjuster. And he sat down, we got on the roof, we went through the whole thing. And I told her, I said, when this adjuster showed up, I said, there's not going to be any issues about this. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he's going to come down here and tell you everything he's going to do to take care of you. Well, what I didn't know was that he actually came down and sat down with us in the living room, starts going through everything, and says, and by the way, I'm going to waive your $100 deductible. Her husband had passed. She and her husband had been with Hartford for 52 or 58 years, something like that.
Yeah.
They had a $100
oh my goodness
deductible on property damage. They didn't have a higher hail and wind deductible at the time, and he was going to waive her $100 hail deductible.
Awfully magnanimous.
Unbelievable. Now, I have never experienced that again, and I'm sure I will never experience that again. So it's the shock, unfortunately, that we get is always, what? What do you mean my deductible is X?
Yeah.
So, Scotty, you were talking. Go ahead and give us the definition.
Well, I will abbreviate the definition.
Okay.
And it is the portion of a claim settlement or a replacement project or an insurance-related restoration project that the property owner is liable for.
Responsible for.
And what about those roofers around who say that they will waive the deductible?
Well, Rick, I think that you agree.
No,
we can let this kind of bleed into next week, and since it's such a short show today, maybe we spend a little bit more time on that next week.
Okay, well, whatever.
Well, just give me the short answer.
Well, the short answer is nobody can legally do that, Rick.
Okay, that was what I was looking for.
This is one of the things that we've talked about over the last 12, 15 years is there have been a lot of changes.
Legally is that key word there.
I've got clients that were my customers back in 2010, 11, 12, 13, things like that. Well, we always explained to people how we did business, and that in fact that we did not pay people's deductibles.
Right.
Okay. But there was a huge portion of the roofing business in Oklahoma who that was a standard practice.
Standard practice.
Your deductible is $2,500. We'll give you a $2,500 marketing credit for sticking a sign in your front door.
Yeah.
Well, the legislature in the years since in Oklahoma has taken care of that in such a way that the times where we really run into that are fewer and fewer and farther in between than what it used to be. I think that the days of anyone expecting a contractor of any type doing restoration work with proceeds from an insurance claim to take care of your out-of-pocket expense, your deductible, those days are really long gone. And when we get to the point where either the Construction Industries Board has authority to get involved in those kinds of things, or the Attorney General and District Attorney start prosecuting those kinds of things, because the prosecution will not only include the contractor, the prosecution will also include the consumer. And I think that's the reason that Attorney General, district attorneys do not want to go down that path, is because it's going to be involving consumers as well. But it's something that what we do, we've talked about this, when we write a contract, we're going to make sure that you have paid your deductible. We're going to have proof of that in the form of a canceled check, a paid invoice, things like that, or a financing agreement, a legally executed financing agreement for that. because the insurance companies are now asking us to prove that insureds have paid their deductible, in some cases before they will entertain our supplements, and certainly before they'll release recoverable depreciation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll cover that in more depth later in the next week or so. We need to get up on the roof. We need to see Scotty's view from the rooftop.
We were walking in the Alabama rain.
It ought to be Oklahoma rain. Anyway, on today's view from the rooftop, Scotty, it's the title is "Well, Sir, looks like today's your lucky day."
What can that be, John? Scott? I started to say Johnny.
Well, we're about to find out. So, in this week's episode, Johnny and I went out to Guthrie to inspect the property for one of his friends from another industry that he established contact with when he got into our business.
Okay.
And was in need of some roof repairs. He thought he's been saving his money and eyeing different products, doing research on metal roofing, but not just any metal roofing, stone-coated steel, which is not something we've talked very much about on the show yet.
Right. I have a neighbor that has that.
Yes, indeed. It's a beautiful roof.
It is.
And he has been saving his money for at least a few years now. So he has us out to inspect. He travels for work, so he's not there, but we met his wife. We let her know what we were about to do, and we got started. Upon beginning the inspection, we realized there were certain cues that indicated there was some storm-related damage on the property. And by the time we finished our roof inspection, we did our adjuster's test squares, 10-foot by 10-foot square areas on all 4 directional slopes of the roof. It came out that all 4 had plenty of hail damage to warrant an insurance claim.
Good.
And this gentleman, all his neighbors have had new roofs. Most of his neighbors, maybe 90% of his neighbors, have had new roofs in the last few years. And this gentleman was completely expecting to pay 100% out of pocket for his brand new stone-coated steel roof. However, when Johnny called him to let him know the findings of our inspection, he was shocked that it turns out most probably 60% of the cost of this stone-coated steel roof is going to be covered by his insurance company.
Fantastic.
So that's where that comment comes in. It looks like today
is your lucky day. So yeah, that's really and one of the things that we try to do in the process of walking through, and again, we don't call these guys salesmen,
right?
Or sales girls, ladies. We call them solution specialists.
Okay.
And they're charged with creating a solution for a client.
Okay.
And as a result of that, we're going to benefit financially, but we're only going to benefit because we created a solution that made great sense for this person. And if it's the reason that we try, if people want to do a lot of repairs on a roof that really is beyond that, in other words, it needs to be replaced. We've got a fellow right now that has a lot of damage on a roof, has active leaks, needs to replace a roof, needs to be an insurance claim and get through that process. We really don't want to go out and charge him an arm and a leg to do a whole bunch of repairs when we know that at some point in time, probably sooner rather than later, he's then going to have to put the expense of his deductible on top of that and get this roof replaced. Well, when we go out and we talk to somebody like the fellow in Guthrie, we already knew that he wanted an estimate on a metal roof, okay? I'm not going to say that a lot of contractors would, but there certainly could have been the possibility of someone going out there that didn't look at it through Scotty's or Johnny's eyes and say, hey, we need to try to save this person every dime we could save them towards this metal roof. They've paid their insurance premiums over years, and this is going to be a big benefit to them, okay? And so that's kind of the way we approach it. It comes up a lot on roofs that need repairs. It comes up a lot when someone wants to upgrade or improve a roof. We really don't like people writing checks for things that they paid insurance don't want an insurance company paying for something they shouldn't pay for. Let me just get that out there. We do not ask insurance companies to pay for things that they should not pay for. But I want them to pay every dime they owe for the things that they do owe.
Yeah.
We've got a case right now that these are ones. Scotty and I had a conversation this morning. It's kind of a moral angst thing with me. It's something that we kind of go back and forth on, and it's properties that are in a state of disrepair, Scotty. Properties that have years and years of deferred maintenance.
Right.
And when I say that there's this angst, this moral thing that comes into it for me, and that Scotty and I talk about, and we talk about with our people, is whenever we have a property in that condition, my gut tells me that no matter how hard we try not to, that the insurance company is probably going to end up paying for something that they really shouldn't be paying for. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
I mean, you have siding that is damaged and needs to be power
30-year-old asbestos siding,
or something that needs to be power washed and cleaned and painted. Well, that house hadn't been cleaned and painted in 30 years, and yet now the insurance company is going to have to pay to do that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
So it's just kind of, and I have these conversations with adjusters every time I'm on a property like that, and we're walking around together, and he or she's trying to figure out, what they should and shouldn't, what they can and can't, what their boss is going to say, all those kinds of things. And it really is tough. It's a tough situation for both the field inspector, adjuster, for the insurance companies, and it's tough for us because, again, we don't want to intentionally ask for something that the insurance company should not be paying for. So,
understand.
Anyway. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned that it was that Guthrie gentleman's lucky day. Today is a special day in a number of reasons.
Let's hear it.
The first Saturday of the month, Play Outside Day, National Play Outside Day.
Play out in the rain day.
It's also National Self-Employed Day. So hooray to me, hooray to you.
Hooray to all of us.
National Fitness Day, National... Oh, well, it's Kentucky Derby Day.
You and I must have missed that one.
Yeah. Oh, hey, I swam my half mile this morning.
Okay, all right.
And National Bombshells Day. Now, I looked up what this is. And it has nothing to do with pinups in World War II, but it does have to do with women. And it's a day that was started by Victoria's Secret for women to celebrate themselves and their friends.
Okay,
I'm sure to sell clothes.
I don't even know where to go with that.
But it's also
Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars.
It's Star Wars Day, May the 4th. Be with you.
Yeah, I saw the billboard this morning as I was going up Broadway Extension. So,
and I figured everybody on the radio in the world is playing the John Williams theme, and I figured why not play Bill Murray's lounge singer version of that. And so I sent it to Eric. Thank you, Running Man Eric. Hey, it's stormy outside. So whether it's before the storm or after the storm, we find ourselves in that position where we're both before and after the storm.
We do, and I want to say that for all those folks who were severely tested last week, our hearts go out to them.
Sure.
And we hope that recovery goes as well as it possibly can. We kind of were in a way, we sit there and talk about, we'd like to have a hailstorm because it gives us a new universe of people to be able to help. But the reality of it is that we really don't want folks to have to deal with those situations and all. But if you have some damage, that obviously we're not talking about tornado damage. We're talking about wind and hail damage primarily. We're talking about damage that's a much, much lesser degree of severity. You need to have someone who knows what they're doing. You need to have a Scotty McCollum. You need to have a HAAG-certified inspector on your roof who can truly evaluate, and it's always great to have someone that has the integrity and the heart that Scotty or one of my folks has, that they're not there to sell you a thing. They're there to determine what it is that you need. If you need something that we provide, we're going to provide you an estimate for that and show you exactly how we'll do it. And then we're going to stand behind it and warrant it. So you've got to get an inspection. You need to get an inspection not from a roofing salesperson. You need to get an inspection from a qualified roof inspector. I have seen in the last week, I've seen roof consultants advertising on TV and on the radio.
I have too.
In this part, I'm just going to tell you folks that McRoof has been here. This is what we do. We in effect are a roof consultant. We're not public adjusters, but we are a roof consultant in the sense that Scotty or my folks have the expertise to determine exactly what's happened, what needs to be done, if anything, and then to walk you through that part of the process. So inspect is the starting place for everything. Whether you're talking about a commercial roof, you're talking about a steep roof, any type of metal roof, coated roof, anything out there, folks, you've got to start with a qualified inspection. Then and only then can you determine what a proper course of action for you would be, and we'll walk you through that. So call McRoof or call Roof RX. Scotty, what are those phone numbers at the bottom of the page?
855-766-3405. That's for McRoof. For Roof RX, it's 405-877-7663.
And you talk to Carly, and Carly will set up the appointment on someone's calendar, let you know who's coming out, and we will be there to try to take care of you. Thank you very much.
All right, and I have to tell you once again, and I let you can see my printer ink ran out.
Very, very small.
But I have to tell you once again before we run out of time here that the lawyer says I have to say that S&CM LLC, doing business as McRoof.us, legally operates under Oklahoma registration number 80000002, and that the registration applies to both residential and commercial roofing. So,
Eric, have a call?
That doesn't look like it.
Okay.
Folks, I need to let everybody know that we will be signing off here in about a minute and a half because OU baseball will be going on.
So Scotty, let's talk real fast about your how many hits does it take on a discontinued roof?
Yeah, this is our trivia question since nobody called in to answer.
The answer is one.
Okay. So, and we have discontinued asphalt shingles out there, the old capstone. We've got shingles that no longer exist in terms of the weight and the thickness of the shingles. We've got the discontinued Atlas Stormmaster slates and lots.
GAF Woodlands, GAF Country Manor, Certainty Independence, Certainty
All right,
Hatteras.
Scotty, I need you to do the Dad's Wisdom. I haven't seen this one before.
Well, Rick, it's every day you get better or you get worse. You never stay the same.
Okay.
Or you never stay the same as you ended up yesterday.
This has been an abbreviated version of McRoof Talks Insurance on KOKC. We will be back next week with a full edition. We'll see you then.
Have a good week and stay safe.
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you, everybody. 1520 KOKC, time for OU Sooner baseball.